Hello, 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 hello. How are you all doing today? I hope that you're all having a fabulous, fabulous day. Since the last 2 weeks, I've been nothing but noise in my house. I have not been able to finish the Heaven's Gate video. I feel like this is something that is a problem everywhere. So Joe says, didn't know he had former Detroit PD officers working up there. Oops, they also bribed the city council for the contract. Yeah, so I want to talk today about this going on in my city of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, because I feel like it's an important one to talk about. It involves our Ottawa police, and I know for a fact that this cannot be the only place that this scam has happened. It's kind of funny because I remember my husband and I driving around, like, since we've moved here, 2013, that we moved to Ottawa from Kingston. And, and we would see tow trucks parked in some odd places, and we would kind of make jokes like that they were getting paid by the police and whatnot. Turns out it all. So without further ado, I really want us to get into what happened, the whole story. It began in 2020, and I didn't cover it then because I wasn't really aware of everything that was going on. We now have the charges have been stayed, and because of this and the police officers now being completely resigned, I feel like now we can discuss this scam, this scheme, and everything that's gone on with it. So I'm going to play my intro, and then we're going to get right into this. I promise. So I actually have a little bit of footage that I would like to show because I think it's important before we go into what exactly happened here. The whole thing. The whole thing.
Which one am I hooking? Which one am I hooking? Too late.
BB and everybody else showed up, bro.
Oh, yeah. Howdy. Jason, which one should I grab?
And the medal's taking the last one, and that's it. I don't make money off of him. He's by himself.
So, as you saw, I don't know, Joe, my internet's still acting up here and there. I hope I'm back. I hope. Let me know, please. I need to know. But if you saw there, one tow truck driver pulls up, asks what cars he's going to be towing, and the police officer tells him that he's too late to the scene, which is odd because, okay, thanks, Joe. Odd because I didn't realize that you could be too late to the scene when there were still cars to tow. Now, if he had arrived and there was nothing going on there, and then the officer was like, sorry, you're too late. We already arranged for all the tows or whatever. Everyone's already hooked up. That would make sense. So why did that happen? What is going on? They actually have an actual term for this, by the way. So here we have in the towing industry, they call it Cop Connects, a scam where drivers can make up to $1,000 per hook and kick back as much as $500 to the friendly officer that refers his favored driver to a collision scene. An Ottawa whistleblower says he knows exactly how this corruption is occurring because he also has paid off his Cop Connects. Absolutely, he said in an interview with Global News multiple times. Money, motorcycles, cars, multiple times. And not just for accidents, just for information. He confronted and covertly recorded an Ottawa police officer scene in 2018, 2 years before the RCMP, our Royal Canadian Mounted Police, for those who are again in 2019, tow truck driver was warned, a city councillor, that Ottawa's tow industry is rigged against consumers. And hundreds of people are getting scammed every week, and the amount of corruption within the Ottawa police is at an all-time high. Oh, I am so happy to be living here in Ottawa. Very happy about that. Lucky me. Yay. Now, in part due to his repeated complaints, Ottawa has announced a sweeping bylaw review. But the whistleblower says he has much more to reveal. He believes serious crime surrounding the industry is far broader than several charges announced in April. And so the Ottawa whistleblower has agreed to explain a lucrative business where cash benefits and confidential information are easily traded with police officers. Global News has, and yeah, because this man's going to end up getting harassed by the police officer, rampant corruption in the tow industry. It is a lucrative business. Insurance payouts can be substantial, and the industry is disordered and poorly regulated, leading to vicious, Wild West competition for hooks. Drivers often race to collision scenes, attempting to be the first in line to solicit stranded drivers. Police officers at the scenes are left playing rewards. A number of drivers told Global News this amounts to corruption and abuse of power. It really does, though, right? I mean, I don't think that the cops should ever be doing any kind of scams or schemes ever. You know what I mean? Like, you are supposed to be there to uphold the law, uphold the law, ensure others follow the law. So then if you break the law, right? Then like what are you doing? It just makes no sense to me. He's a police officer who people respect, and we're just, the vultures, like they call us, the whistleblower said. And because the Ottawa tow industry is slanted towards a winner takes all model, collision scenes start to feel like gang turf wars, which we also have here, so we don't need any more of that. The whistleblower said even for drivers who would like to follow the rules, getting close to police officers is the only way to make a profit. It's pretty much the only way to hook in this city as a tow truck operator if you want to hook and pay your bills, he said. You need to have an unfair advantage. Otherwise, I don't know. It says that it's weird because it's only messing up over here. Everything else is working. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand how it works and then it doesn't work and then it works and it doesn't work and I fix it and it works for like a week and then it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, it says here that in the Greater Toronto Area, which is what GTA stands for, there was a violent turf war, which that sounds insane. Canada Bell does not like me at all. Probably because I used to work there. I did like sales and customer service for them back in the day. So probably not. Probably not. But again, everything messes up right now. So I mean, imagine being like a tow truck driver and then having to deal with turf wars. It just sounds so crazy to me. Like, because they're doing their jobs. I don't think that should ever be a thing at your job. You shouldn't have to worry about these freaking turf wars when you're doing your job. In any other job, if you told people that you actually got into turf wars, they'd be like, dude, call the labor board. That's not cool. Some Ottawa tow truck drivers say the discretion police have on the scenes of collisions has forced them out of the industry. Which, again, what is that about? Why are we forcing people out of the industry? I'm sure it's hard enough to get people to do this job as it is, It's not an easy job to do. It sounds like it's dangerous too, but said he had to give it up due to a lack of business. Which like I don't understand. Isn't it more important to clean up the collision scene and get everyone to safety than it is like who's doing it? I feel like if you still need tows and then a tow truck shows up, you should just be like, yeah, man, can you please get that one for us? Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. They have pretty much all the discretion. The police is going to come up and tell you that, company A is, you're going to listen to them. Because, like, if a tow truck company is crazy expensive, and then the cops are just like, listen, this one might be better for you because they don't charge as much. Like every once in a while, like is that pay for car repairs and whatnot, like with a good tow price and some decent advice for their finances. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder. Well, drivers often get calls for smaller service gigs like boosting a car battery. Collisions are that the monthly cost of operating a towing business between truck payments, insurance, maintenance, and fuel mean that unless a driver is regularly securing hooks at these collisions, there's no chance of breaking even. There's only so many $60 tows and service calls you can do, he says. Others aren't formed on the spot. According to the whistleblower, inappropriate relationships are formed over time and often start when police officers themselves use tow truck services. They're probably like, hey, if you, don't charge me, I'll hold you collisions. Maybe, some tow truck drivers find officers drunk. That's how they get there. They crash their car drunk. Single vehicle accident, the whistleblower said. The guy says, oh my God, I'm a cop. You're a tow truck. You'll say, I'll help you. Don't ever say anything. Having a good relationship with a tow truck driver can be a lucrative business for police. The whistleblower says cops often ask for a cut of each bill when they call their connections to a collision scene. We all like business going on the side. We got the cops out here. It's not great. I don't like it at all. It's really gross, actually. I'm not really sure. In the smaller suburbs I live in, the city contracts to tow yards. See, like, that's what I mean, though. Like, is that against the law? I mean, if you contract, I'm assuming that the city writes up a contract with them and then they like have a legal binding agreement there. So I don't know if that's the same thing as like running this scheme and then getting paid like under the table either. You know? I don't know if that would be as corrupt because at least they're contracting. You know what I mean? That's like an informative decision to use that service for your yard, or for like your towing needs. I think as a business or as the government, you could probably do that. I think though the police doing it for money on the side is especially if they're like leaving people stranded at the scene to like wait for a specific tow driver from a specific company when there's like 5 other ones pulling up. Could you imagine having just gotten in an accident, right? And you're waiting for your car to be towed and you're sitting there. And then a random tow shows up and then the cop's like, no, go. And then you're like, well, what the hell, dude? And then he's like, sorry, I got to deal with my buddy. He's on his way. He'll be here in a half an hour. Like, you'd be pissed. Be like, what the hell? Like, it just, ugh, I don't know. There's something so gross about this. Average collision can purportedly net an officer a cut of up to $500 vehicle collisions so that they make money, if that cop works stable per year. And again, I think the under the table part is also where they're kind of like, eh. The whistleblower says making sure the cop gets their cut is a primary factor in the size of the final bill. If that finder's fee weren't in the equation, vehicle owners and their insurance companies would be paying less per tow in Ottawa. So, again, that's another thing with this, is that because they have to pay a kickback now, it's like an MLM, right? They're paying out sales. Damn it, stop going out on me, internet. You were working fine 2 minutes ago. And before I streamed, you fucking fixed you. So I think it's like they end up charging more for the tow so that then they can pay this kickback to the police officers. So then if you're getting towed here, instead of just paying like $60 for a tow to $100 for a tow, which is probably what it should be, you end up getting a bill for $250 to $300. They up their price. And then they pocket the money. And then the tow truck driver also pockets money. Right? It's bizarre. That, I think, would be like the major issue. But the relationship between cops and drivers isn't always monetary, the whistleblower said, and it's often informal. Awesome. I love hearing that. Oh my God. Here's the thing, guys. I just have to tell you, I came from Kingston, Ontario, which is a city that was called Penn City. Here in Canada, it is the city that is surrounded by the most penitentiaries in like anywhere. They literally had like all of the major prisons. They were like, let's put them all around Kingston. That's a great idea. And the likes, like we had Paul Bernardo in Kingston Penn, and we used to like drive by every day. Like, you know what I mean? And so my city was very corrupt. I grew up and knew some people growing up that weren't the greatest people. And for example, like we had lawyers that used to get paid with cocaine. I had friends that would get caught, pay their lawyers with like a few pounds. We actually had one of them caught. Police very corrupt there. What happens is they almost form relationships with the criminals. It's a very weird thing. So I'm already from a complete corrupted city. But the difference is that Kingston was like super duper small in comparison to Ottawa. It's probably like a quarter of the size. Like maybe not even. I'm not really 100% sure. But it's like the type of, do you know what I mean? Uh, that kind of city. So the police corruption in Kingston I can ignore this. This isn't all up in my face. Like when I was in Kingston, and it's like, no matter what, you grew up with people who are going to jail. All right. No matter what, you knew criminals. Like you couldn't work anywhere, you couldn't go to school anywhere, or you couldn't do anything without, unfortunately, being around like criminals, right? So it was like always in your face. When I moved here, I literally like hardly know anyone. The friends that I've made here are like, my daughter's friends, parents and stuff. Have any of that around me. I don't have any crime around me. I don't have any like I've never seen someone deal a drug here. Like I grew up watching them when I was, you know, growing up in high school. When I was growing up, it was always in my face. I couldn't ignore it. But here, it's like I had no clue. I mean, I think you know that cops are a little bit corrupt, but I think I didn't believe that this would be as corrupt of a city, especially it being the capital, which, fun fact, Kingston used to be the capital of Canada. I have only lived in the cities that are the capitals. So I don't I don't see any of this. I have no clue what's going on with the Ottawa police. I don't know of the corruption. So all of the corruption from my hometown. Evan, you worked at the Wayne County Jail, but it wasn't the job for you. You know what? It probably is a hard job. It really probably is. I have some friends that went into being like prison guards because that's a huge job in my hometown. In my hometown, you go to social work or you go to be a prison guard. Like those are probably like two of the main jobs in Kingston that you could be successful in because there's all the pens there, and then it's a very big social work town. Um, and honestly, like it wouldn't be the job for everyone. It would be a hard job to do, I have to say. I went into social work and that was difficult. Uh, but I don't know if I'd be able to deal with criminals all day, especially now, because I grew up dealing all the time. So now I like don't want to be near anyone. Right? Like when you've already done that life, gotten out of it, been out of it, want to go back to that kind of life. Anywhere there's the government, there's corruption. I just, the government being corrupt, yeah. But I think for me, it's the cops being be a police officer and uphold the law, ensure other people aren't breaking the law. No, some shit. That's so hypocritical. I can't even. Makes my head hurt. It really does. So According to the whistleblower, to keep the connection strong, a truck driver might take a friendly officer on a trip to a secluded fishing spot. They might give the officer's car a custom decal or provide some renovation work on their connect's house. He said drivers provide services, gifts, vacations, or anything their connection might need. It's almost like the driver ends up becoming some kind of like personal assistant to the cop then. Very strange. Like the vacation thing is a little bit like what? Like go on fishing trips like their buddies and okay. In return, the whistleblower says some drivers get more than just a heads up on towing jobs. The whistleblower alleges he's been able to solicit sensitive information from police databases with just a quick phone call to his own connections. How do I get one of these connections so that when my daughter starts dating, I can like call up someone and be like, I need the deets on this. Make sure they don't have a criminal record. Thank you, officer. Scammer, sir. Private information can be easily traded. I mean, I'm not full of this type of corruption, but I do believe most people would be shocked by that, and I'd be doing this. He used the hypothetical example of a road rage incident. A person with cop connects could easily cut them off, which that shouldn't be happening because what you got to drag down the driver for? What we gonna do here? And go like beat someone up? Like the cops are like, sure, man, yeah, I'll help you go get that dude. Here's his address. This is a very strange thing to me, okay? If someone wanted to run a plate, they do that stuff, he said. They'll look up police reports. They do sketchy stuff. Great. Love it. Love when I hear the cops do sketchy stuff. The whistleblower says these kinds of quid pro quo relationships are rampant throughout Ottawa. But like I said, don't tell me that we're the only place that has this. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure if you're in a major city, this is going on. So if you know people that work in the tow truck industry, tell them to stop that shit or else they're going to go down. Because once one place gets caught and then people get charged, they're made an example out of, guess what happens? Also, tell these tow truck drivers if they're doing it to be the whistleblowers. It's better to be that than to be the person that goes down with all the cops and gets charged. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm telling you to be a rat, okay? I am. All right. Don't let the cops trick you into breaking the law with them. That's what I feel like that's happening here. It's a very strange thing to say. And again, the cops should know better than to let these tow truck drivers, quote unquote, trick them into these weird relationships, if you will. Like, why we got a cops driving drunk and then needing a tow truck driver to like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here, Ottawa? What's going on? It was one alleged relationship in particular that led him, the whistleblower, to blow the whistle, to become the whistleblower on the entire industry. An ongoing RCMP investigation into allegations of police tip-offs in Ottawa's tow industry was first made public in April. 3 Ottawa police officers, and that's 2020 again, sorry. 3 Ottawa police officers were charged, as were 3 members of the public. Among those arrested in connection to the case were Ottawa Police Service, OPS, Constable Kevin Patinsky, who is the gentleman that was in the video we watched, and Ottawa United Towing owner Jason, who was the other one that was in the video we watched. Global News has found that Ishraki and another Ottawa police officer charged in the case, whose name is Constable Hussein, a company yard. Sus. Corporate records show that Ishraqi and Hussein Assad are listed as directors of the numbered company, although Global News could not confirm that Hussein Assad, listed as a director of the company, is also the police officer charged in the case. But I mean, like, come on now. I give them credit for being honest, that they could like completely confirm this. Do we need to really question it though? Like it's no guys, it's another Hussein Assad. Not the same dude. Must be a different one. Like really though, come on now. Putinsky, who's, by the way, if you take away the sky, the ski, it's Putin. I'm just saying. And Assad are charged with breach of trust and secret commissions. Which, did you know that was a charge here? Uh-huh. Yeah. Assad 44 is also charged with providing access to confidential police databases and obstruction of justice. So he was one of those people that you could call up and be like, yo, give me this guy's license plate. And he'd be like, all right, we can go beat him up. You know, I don't know if he ever went and beat up anyone, by the way. I'm just joking about that. But what else would you need to look that up for? Unless you were going to go make a scene with the dude, you know? Assad could not be reached for comment through his lawyer. How convenient. Shraki also could not be reached for comment. Again, how convenient. And Putin's through his credit, and then you pull something like this, and I'm like, oh, geez. The allegations have not been proven in court. For years, the whistleblower alleges he saw Putinsky turn drivers like himself away from collision scenes, insisting that collision victims had called CAA, only for United Towing to later arrive on the scene. What I mean, like, imagine being in a collision, waiting on the scene for a damn tow truck. One pulls up, and the cops like tell him to go away. It's his cousin. Yeah, must be just the family member. It's his dad. They have the same name. He was named after him. You know, that's it. But like, imagine how pissed you would be. Like, and you're like, yo, why did you? I thought we were waiting for the tow truck. And then like, what do these people tell these people after? Like, are they just like, yeah, no, sorry, that tow truck driver isn't cool? Like, I don't get it. How do you even explain that to these people after they've been in a collision and they're literally sitting there watching these tow trucks get turned away? Like, that just blows my mind. I can just picture how many people were just sitting at collisions over the last several years. Just like, what the hell, man? Why all these tow truck drivers keep getting turned away? Like, I'm waiting for a tow. Why'd you tell them that I already called CAA? I don't have CAA. You know what I mean? Like, that's so weird. It's so weird. How did this happen for so long to begin with? Lord. I don't get it. He says he was never able to catch the officer's name to make a formal complaint until one night in May of 2018. And then here we have two tow trucks intentionally set on fire in York region. Lovely. That might be related to something like this. Maybe it was a turf war. The whistleblower says he saw the familiar officer and a United towing truck at the scene of a collision that evening and resolved to confront Putinsky. He turned on his for the encounter, which is what we saw at the beginning of this. In the video, the whistleblower is heard asking him why he is being asked to leave the scene and denying that the car owner at the scene has asked him to leave. I know you're Jason's friend too, the whistleblower says. Jason's friend? What are you talking about? He's right there. He's standing right there talking to you. You don't know Jason? I know you know Jason because Jason said Putinsky is my friend. At no point in the video does Putinsky admit to wrongful conduct involving Jason Ishraqi or admit to knowing Ishraqi. I literally told the stranded driver, you can take whoever you want. Putinsky says, I get the game. I get it. It's $1,500 sitting there, the whistleblower says. I know, I get it, Putinsky says. It's money in your pocket. Later, Putinsky returns to the whistleblower's truck and says, you might want to call Jason if the stranded driver takes Jason. I told him he can take anyone he wants. It's up to you guys. You guys talk it out. So now this police officer is like basically creating turf wars. Dash cams are great. Everybody should have one at this point. Lord, especially with this stuff going on in our world. That's so strange. Before the whistleblower leaves the scene, Putinsky is heard saying, okay, good to know you guys. So if you show up sometimes, you guys are solid. The recorded conversation runs intermittently for about 15 minutes and has been condensed for clarity in this story. We don't have, they never released the full one. I don't believe. I couldn't find it. So we have like just the short clip of it, which I played at the beginning of this. But apparently the full conversation was like 15 minutes long. We just have the part of him pulling up, asking what's going on and whatnot, and then being told to leave. With a video in hand that he believed would prove an illicit connection between Putinsky and Ishraki, the whistleblower says he put in a call to a staff sergeant at the Ottawa police station that same night. The whistleblower says he has played the video for Ottawa police in a meeting. It is not known if Ottawa police or RCMP have retained the video, and neither force would comment. Not yet, not until they really know what's going on. But for years, he says, no action was ever taken against Putinsky. Email and call records reviewed by Global News confirm the whistleblower made repeated allegations about Putinsky and other officers. The name of the officer is Kevin Putinsky. 2018 call records says, I've been on scene before. He kicks me off. Tells me that. So I'm letting you know there is no way to get this guy in trouble. He's a cop. I've called before. The staff. See, my whole thing is, why aren't the police more concerned with like providing the quickest tow? The quickest tow that shows up. It's whoever. It's supposed to go by whoever is closest to the area and shows up gets the tow, wars and whatnot as well. But it's like, I said, I just can't imagine being in a collision and then sitting there waiting, and then seeing tow drivers be told to go. The Ottawa Police Service was asked to comment on allegations in this story, but said it could not, citing the RCMP's ongoing investigation. Yeah, like that makes sense to me. I often tell people, if you are going to court, shut your mouth. Don't talk about shit. Soon as you open your mouth publicly when you're going to court, guess what? Everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Isn't that like told to you when you get arrested? I'm just saying. Don't you watch like Law and Order? Haven't you ever heard the spiel before? Come on now. Come on. In a statement released when the charges were first laid in April, Ottawa Police Chief Peter Slawley called the charges very serious, but added that they do not reflect the overall integrity of OPS members. It kind of does to me, though. Global News asked the Ottawa Police Services Board to comment on the allegations in this story. I'm just going to say it right now, like this cop that is getting caught for this, he's apparently pretty young. Where did he learn this from? Obviously, like, other ones are doing it too. I'm sorry, but like, Global News asked the Ottawa Police Services Board to comment on the allegations in this story. In a prepared statement, Acting Chair Sandy Smallwood said the board expects all Ottawa police members to act in a lawful and ethical manner. We will continue to work with the Chief of Police to make ongoing investments that will advance the culture at the service. raise ethical standards, and develop our members. I hope so. The RCMP also said it could not comment. Again, most of them won't really comment until the case is over, or at least the investigation is. I want to point out that if further charges are identified, a media release will be sent out or laid out widespread concerns. The tow truck situation is getting out of control, the email says. Legal tow truck business pulls or completely disregarding the laws. And that shouldn't be a thing in any business. Unethical business practices, which is what we talk about. Again, in September 2019, the whistleblower emails a city councillor saying he has repeatedly pushed for regulations in Ottawa with no response. Hundreds of people are getting scammed every week, and the amount of corruption within the Ottawa police is at an all-time high. Drivers are getting assaulted and stabbed on a weekly basis. That's not okay. An Ottawa towing company driver was gunned down and murdered in his truck 2 summers ago, so 2016. He's not alone pushing for reforms in the industry. In 2018, RAD rallied truck drivers in an attempt to form an association that would certify trusted drivers in the industry and present upfront regulated prices to bring standards to towing in Ottawa. Every tow company part of that association would charge the exact same dollar amount. So no matter who you went with, you knew exactly what the price was from the get-go. There was no hidden fees. And they should do that, by the way. I think that is what's most fair to the consumers. But driver support for the association faded when Ottawa City Hall failed to engage, he said. I mean, yeah. Brad says he also called on city councilors to push for bylaws to regulate the industry, but was municipal election in 2018. He tried again when the new term of council began, but again, heard nothing. In interviews with Global News, the whistleblower and other Ottawa tow drivers echoed these calls for strict pricing regulations in the local. He is accepting residents' concerns related to the local towing industry until June 27th. A website set up to collect feedback says the city has heard complaints about billing, business practices, road safety, and alleged illegal activities in Ottawa's towing. And guess what? They do. As you see, Toronto has had deaths as well. And I don't feel like this is something that is only happening here in Ottawa. So, I don't think it has. So, let's look at the newest news about this. As you see here, it's CBC. It's stayed. You're going to love this, Joe. An Ottawa police constable who was once accused of planning this came out yesterday at 4 a.m. I'm to talk about this now. This is a bit like, what the hell? I mean, it wasn't at 4 a.m. when I saw it, but Everything went. It disappeared on me. Finally, I guess, after all the internet problems I've been having today. So, this man basically, they were able to make plea deals where they give in their badges, they admit that they did the tow truck thing, and then they got out. Police in proposed plan to carry out an ATM heist by orchestrating a shooting in another part of town to distract police officers were all a part of the combined persecution of I can't even believe I'm reading this. It was all part of it. So Assad's resignation ended his time on paid suspension from the service, which again meant, thanks for being here, Joe, which again meant that he's been getting paid this whole time. So they're corrupt police officers, and then when they go to court for it, they get paid. Why? What kind of bullshit is that? I've never even, they were planning like wiretaps and listening devices in Assad's vehicle. Like, this is like some crap, man. I don't know how we got all this police corruption happening. We have the police working with people out in the world to help them commit crimes. I don't know what's going on here in Ottawa. I'm sure fixed it and got it all right. I don't know. But I wanted to do this to just let people know that this was a thing that was happening here. Be wary if you are in this area, or again in Toronto or any of the other areas. Like, if you are anywhere and you ever have to use a tow truck or you ever get into a collision, please look out for this. If you know people that are in the tow truck business, I mean, talk to them about this. See if this is something that they're dealing with. And hopefully the police do something also to regulate this better. I think there should be more bylaws, although not much has changed since this happened. And I'm not sure if it's going to, right? That kind of depends. It depends on the police. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to keep on looking into this. It might just end up going away. And this might be the end that we ever hear of it, although I am sure there are other police officers that are doing this. I'm sure that it wasn't just these three. And there's obviously other tow drivers that are doing this. And they shouldn't be. Especially since at the end of the day, this fucks with the consumers. Those that have to use the tow truck services. And when you usually have to use a tow truck service, you're kind of in a jam, right? You stranded in your car. That's why you need them. So it's a vulnerable time to prey on people. And the fact that the police help that happen is just mind-blowing to me. So I really do hope that there are bylaws. Are you in a place that has these bylaws set? How does this work? Making sure that that kind of corruption isn't happening in our cities, because once again, it can't just be in mine. I'm going to go before I end up getting cut off again because my internet decides that it's like, I hate you today again, queen, fuck you. So I hope everyone has a fabulous, fabulous day. I am going to try to get this Heaven's Gate video done on the weekend because you can't do work at my house on the weekend. And hopefully I will have it out by Wednesday for everyone. I'm going to try and do that because I know I keep promising it on Fridays. And then like my life falls apart for the week. I get maintenance coming in all the time. I get like stuff I have to deal with family. I'm just all over the place right now, but I'm trying to get it together. So thank you for being here with me while I do. And I love all of you. And I'll see you all very, very soon. I'll probably stream tomorrow about a scam. If, again, I can figure this shit out again. The internet is pissing me off, and so are the Ottawa police. Like, who do I call if I can't call the police? And I can't call the fucking Ghostbusters. Damn it.